Shalom lachem, Achai v'Re'ai Karim. We're going to continue to study Torah, for the merit, the zchut of IDF soldiers. They continue to fight for all the kidnapped people to come back, and refuah shlema for the people in the hospital got injured in the war. I would like also to, if you remember one year we spoke about this week, we're talking about the 4 words of redemption. והוצאתי והצלתי וגאלתי ולקחתי. והוצאתי, I will take you out. והצלתי, I'll save you. וגאלתי, I will redeem you. ולקחתי, and I will take you for me as a nation. But what we learned a few years ago is completely different than what we're going to learn today. It's different angle to look at the 4 words. Look at the top. I put the topic, the subject, הקשר הנפלא, the wonderful connection between all the 4 words of the redemption. של 4 לשונות הגאולה. Okay? So the first thing is, we said the 4 words of redemption is talking about the 4 גלויות. Look at line 5. על כל 4 הגלויות שגלו בהן ישראל. We're talking about all the 4 exiles, the galut, the diaspora, that the Jewish people been there. Where? Bavel, Madai, Yavan, Edom. Bavel, Madai, Yavan, Edom. This is the 4 galuyot that the Jewish people been, the big galuyot. Babylonia, Madai, Greece, and Edom. וארבע הגאולות and the 4 redemption, the 4 words of redemption is for the 4 galuyot. So look here, לכן line 8. לכן אמור לבני ישראל, this is the pasuk. Now, therefore you should say to the Jewish people, אני אדוני, I am Hashem, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים, I'll take you out under the bondage of Egypt, והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם, and I'll save you out of their slavery, וגאלתי אתכם בזרוע נטויה, and I will redeem you with a strong arm, ובשפטים גדולים, in big miracles, big signs we will see. The 4th one, ולקחתי אתכם לי לעם, and I will take you for me as a nation. Do you remember the word לקחת? When we use the Torah using the word לקחת?
When they get married, they say.
Yes, Ruth, very good. כי ייקח איש אישה. When we're talking לקחת, is either business transaction or married. And to get married is business. That's why the husband, the Hatan, give the Ktubah. The Ktubah is a document, is business, is agreement between the Hatan and the Kala. So Hashem said after the first 3 redemption, והוצאתי והצלתי וגאלתי, is going to have big wedding. ולקחתי אתכם לי לעם, והייתי לכם לאלוהים. So you will be for me as a nation, and I'll be for you as God. Mean the Hatan and the Kala. וידעתם, and you should know. Remember what is the word לדעת? What is לדעת? Huh?
Connection.
Yes, very good. Literally, if you translate לדעת is to know. But the biblical language, לדעת is to be connected. וידעתם, and you should be connected to me. כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם המוציא אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. Who takes you under the bondage of Egypt. It's interesting. Look the word sivlot. What is sivlot? Bondage, tolerance, slavery. Because he started, look line 8, the first one. והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. So the word sivlot he already said in the first word of redemption. And after the conclusion, he repeat again the word sivlot. Why you repeat again the word sivlot? That means the word sivlot has a lot of power and meaning. And we will see during the shiur. Our sages said, do you know the 4 words of redemption, what we are doing because of these 4 words of redemption?
The 4 cups of wine.
Very good. So look at line 16. והוצאתי והצלתי וגאלתי ולקחתי, וכנגדם תקנו לשתות בליל פסח 4 כוסות יין. The 4 cups of wine that we drink on Leil HaSeder, this is for the 4 words of redemption. So my dear friend, what we saw until now, Four words of redemption represent the four galuyot, כן? Bavel, Mada, Yavan, כן? And we say we have these four galuyot and also the 4 cups of wine. The Gemara, not the Bavli, the Yerushalmi, in Masechet Psachim, she asked in line 3, Minayin le'arba'a kosot, how do you know that we have to drink 4 cups of wine? Rabbi Yochanan b'shem, line 4, בשם רבי בניה כנגד 4 גאולות, is because of the 4 redemptions. לכן אמור לבני ישראל, אני אדוני והוצאתי אתכם ולקחתי אתכם והוצאתי והצלתי והגעתי. Excuse me. So Rabbi Yochanan said, why we drink 4 cups of wine? Because of the 4 words of the redemption. Now the question. וצריך ביאור, מה שהכפיל הקדוש ברוך הוא את הבטחתו שיוציא את ישראל, remember, מתחת סבלות מצרים. The bondage of Yiddish, right? כי אם פתח בכך, he opened his speech about the 4 words with the word סבלות. And then, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. ואחרי שהזכיר, after he mentioned all the 4 words of redemption, he repeated again, וידעתם כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם, המוציא אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. So the question is, why you repeat? Why Hashem repeated the word sivlot in the beginning as introduction, the 4 words, and as a conclusion for the 4 words of redemption? Is the question clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go. Move forward. Here is another, the same thing. Why we have the 4 words of redemption, and the rabbis tiknu hachamim 4 cups of wine, in Pesach. Because why? Because another 4 now, 4 decree that Paro had on the Jewish people. Okay, so remember the first one we had 4 exiles, galuyot, 4 cups of wine. Now they said the 4 is the 4 gzerot. Shegazar Paro, 4 decrees that Paro had decreed on the Jewish people. What are the 4? Line 8. Aleph, you see Aleph? Gzerat HaShe'bud, number of the decree of the slavery. וימררו את חייהם בעבודה קשה, and they bitter their time with the hard labor. Bet, line 9 in the middle, גזירת טביעת הבנים. He said all the baby boys to sink him in the water. Remember this, right? That's him. And then, טביעת הבנים, then שחיטת הילדים. Another decree to slaughter the kids. Do you know why he wanted to slaughter? He used the blood of the baby, of the children, for medication.
Wow.
Yeah, why? Because when he got leprosy, he took the blood of the babies to cover it as a medication. So remember, we have to sink the children to the water, and we have to slaughter the children. So we have 3. What is really number 4? Achbadat avodah. Every day he makes the word harder and harder. Never, it's not even status quo. So every day they got harder labor. So he said, one day he gave them the straw, remember? The next day he said, don't give them straw, let them find out in the field the straw. And they have to do the same quantity. So we see that not only 4 exiles, we have also 4 cups of wine, we have also 4 decrees of Paro. בעל הטורים, line 16, you see, said, כי 4 לשונות של גאולה שנאמרו בגאולת מצרים, הן כנגד 4 גאולה שעתיד הקדוש ברוך הוא לגאולת ישראל. בעל הטורים said what we said in the beginning. Why the 4 words of redemption is that Hashem is going to redeem the Jewish people from the 4 galuyot. Line 19. What the 4 galuyot? Bavel, Madai, Yavan, Edom. Here is his own word, quote. Like we said, the 4 quote of Baal HaTurim. Line 3. והוצאתי והצלתי וגאלתי ולקחתי 4 לשונות של גאולה, 4 words of redemption. כנגד 4 מלכויות. As parallel to the 4 kingdoms ובאחרון כתיב, and the last one, do you remember who is the last one?
Edom.
Edom, do you remember the verb? What is the,
Adama?
what?
Edom from Adama? No.
No, I'm talking the 4 words of redemption. What was the fourth one?
לקחתי.
ולקחתי.
לקחתי.
So, לקחתי is with Edom, parallel to Edom. כי look line 5, כתיב ולקחתי כנגד אדום. What is לקחת? Besides getting married, לקחת is to take by force. When somebody taking from somebody. said, ועל כן כתיב ולקחתי כאדם הלוקח בחוזקה. Why? Out of the 4 גלויות, you know which one is the hardest one?
אדום.
Edom.
No, the last.
Edom is that's why ולקחתי, the first explanation I gave you is about to get married between Hashem and Am Israel. Now he said, בעל הטורים ולקחתי is also to take by force. Why? To remind us and to teach us that the most difficult galut is Edom. Do you know what is Edom today?
רום.
Edom is Esav. Who is Esav
Esav,
today? Is Europe and America.
Yes.
Is Europe and America. That's Edom. Okay? And where he took the source, you know, Baal HaTurim, he said, Mishoel, minayin la'arba'a kosot, how do you know that we have to take 4 cups? And he said, כנגד 4 לשונות של גאולה. He said 4 words of redemption. רבי לוי אומר, כנגד 4 מלכויות, is for the 4 kingdoms. ופרש ביפה מראה, there is a book called יפה מראה, כי 4 הכוסות, now listen to the conclusion, because we said, you know, few things. Now listen to the conclusion. You ready? Line 12. כי 4 הכוסות, what is the purpose of the 4 cups, beside parallel to the 4 words of redemption? What Hashem is trying to teach us? לחזק את ביטחוננו בהשם, to trust Hashem. Why? Hashem did redeem us from the 4 galuyot. Yes. So he will redeem us from Egypt as well. So he said, you know, remember the 4 exiles, it doesn't mention Egypt. Egypt is not one of the 4. So he said the 4, so Hashem is trying to give us chizuk, to reinforce us, to give us strength, to believe. They said the same way I saved you out of the 4 galuyot, I'll save you out of Egypt. And that's what Moshe came to the Jewish people with the good news. I'm going to use 4 words of redemption. This is about time to be out of Egypt. And Moshe used these 4 words of redemption. By parentheses, do you remember really how many cups we have on the table in Pesach?
5.
We have 5. So why we say 4?
אליהו הנביא.
Do you know how many words of redemption we have?
We have one more. והבאתי.
We have 5. But we don't mention the 5th one. You know what is the 5th one? והבאתי אתכם. I'll bring you to Eretz Israel. Because the 5th one, when Eliyahu Hanavi will come, Be'ezrat Hashem, you from Panama and from America, from Europe, all the Jews will come to Eretz Israel, and then we will have the 5th cup. But right now, we're talking about the 4th cup. So, Baal HaTurim found connection between the redemption from Egypt to the redemption of the 4 kingdoms. You understand? What is the connection? He said, the same way Hashem took you out from the 4 kingdoms, He will take you out of Egypt. Harizal asked in his book Likutei Torah, but look what he asked. You know, he said, בדברי חכמינו שהזכירו תמיד, every time that our sages mention the 4 galuyot, they mention Bavel, Madai, Yavan, Edom. But they never put Egypt part of the galuyot. But Egypt was a big galut. Maybe the most difficult galut. Maybe the longest one. 210 years we were in Egypt. Look, even the pasuk in the Torah in Bereshit. והארץ הייתה, remember the pasuk, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו, וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני הארץ. Look now what the Midrash says. והארץ הייתה תוהו. What is תוהו? Is גלות בבל. בוהו is גלות מדי. חושך, darkness, is גלות יוון. תהום, the valley, is גלות הרשע אדום, is אדום. So even the first pasuk in the Torah, כן? Can we say, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום? Each word represent one galut. So to repeat, to remind you, what is it? Tohu vavohu. Remember we said tohu vavohu, empty and nothing? Tohu is Bavel. Bohu is Madai. Hoshech, darkness, is Yavan, Greece. And Tehom is Edom. So we mentioned the fourth. Again, what we don't see. Which one?
Egypt.
Egypt. Mitzrayim is not in the picture.
Yes.
Do you remember the Brit Ben Abtarim?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember the vision, how it looks like? I remind you, darkness. Very, very heavy darkness. Darkness that you can touch. Look, I shall show you the pasuk. Line 11. והנה אימה חשיכה גדולה נופלת עליו. אימה is fear. חשיכה is darkness. גדולה is big. Okay, נופלת is falling down upon him. But even here the Midrash says, each word is a galut. Ema, the fear, is Babel. Hashecha, the darkness, is Madai. כן? גדולה is Yavan. And נופלת עליו is Edom. So now, what is the big question, the $1 million question? What happened to Egypt? Egypt is the big galut. And never I showed you now 3-4 sources that we mention only the 4 galuyot, but not Egypt. So look, ask, מדוע, line 15, מדוע לא מנו את גלות מצרים בתוך שאר הגלויות? Why Egypt is not part of the galuyot? And we are talking now in book of Shmot, we're talking about Mitzrayim, Egypt. Who gave us the answer? Ha'ari, HaKadosh. Look what he says, line 18. כי 4 הגלויות, the 4 exiles, the 4 גלויות, בבל, מדי, יוון, אדום, is גלות פרטית, is a private גלות. I will explain to you what is private גלות. שכל אחד מהן מתנגדת לאות אחת, you know, because how you spell the name of God? Do you remember how you spell Yud K, Vav K?
Okay.
Yud K, Vav K. So how many letters you have?
4.
4 letters. Now he said that each one of the 4 galuyot trying to nullify 1 letter of God. Okay? Look here. שכל אחת מהן מתנגדת, each one of the galut, מתנגדת is against one of the 4 letters of God. What is it? Bavel is against Yud. Line 2, you see it?
Yes.
Bavel is against Yud. Madai is against what? Hey. Yavan is against what? Vav.
Vav.
Edom is against what? Hey. So he said, we have 2 Hey. We have the first Hey and the second Hey. The second Hey is Edom. The first Hey is Madai. So, אבל גלות מצרים, now each one of them now is a letter. It's private. It's private. Now tell me you, what is Egypt compared to the 4 galuyot? What is the opposite of private?
Public.
What? When I said klal, klali, in general, you know, is not prati, is klali. Klali means general, in generalized, כן? אבל גלות מצרים היא גלות כללית. In Galut Mitzrayim, you know what we have inside Galut Mitzrayim? All the 4 galuyot is included in Mitzrayim.
Wow.
So Mitzrayim is the huge one, is the giant, is the big one, is the klal. But the prat, the details, is Bavel, Madai, Yavan, and Edom. Because Bavel, Madai, Yavan, and Edom, each one is privately to 1 letter of God. But Mitzrayim is all the 4 letters of God. Mitzrayim is included all the galuyot. That's why Ari HaKadosh said Mitzrayim is not even the same category with the four גלויות. He said, look here, line 4. אבל גלות מצרים היא גלות כללית. כללית means general, inclusive. הכוללת בתוכה את כל 4 הגלויות, included all the 4 גלויות together. כי היא כנגד קוצו של אותיות, הכולל כל 4 אותיות שם הוויה. מצרים is against all the 4 letters of God. לכן הזכירו חכמים, that's why חכמים, when we spoke about גלויות, they talking about the private גלויות or the כללי? The private גלויות.
The private.
That's why מצרים is not part of the 4. So tell me, which one is the most difficult one?
Egypt.
Egypt. Why Egypt? Because all the galuyot is included in Egypt. What could be more than Egypt? Any question? I'm going to Bnei Saschar, one of my favorite Hacham that give us many secrets. הטעם שתקנו חז"ל, the reason that Hazal said to drink 4 cups is for the 4 kingdoms, as we said. כי מאחר שגלות מצרים כללה בתוכה את כל 4 גלויות. So Bnei Saschar said exactly what the Ari said. You know, that Egypt is inclusive inside 4 גלויות. אם כן, מגאולת מצרים, נוכל עכשיו, now tell me why, if Hashem redeem us from Egypt, what does that mean? If Hashem, now make Kal Vachomer, the most difficult galut is Egypt. But what was before, Egypt or Edom or Greece or Madai or Yavan? What was first?
Egypt.
Egypt. What Hashem is trying, what message He's trying to give us now in Egypt?
He will redeem us from all,
Do you remember what is Kal Vachomer?
even more so.
Yes. He said, if I take you out of Egypt, Kal Vachomer, I'll take you out of Edom. Kal Vachomer, I take you out. What is Greece compared to Egypt? It's peanuts. So that's why Egypt is the most difficult. They say, look, He gave us Hizuk. Hashem gave us Hizuk, strengthen us, reinforcement. Look what He said, line 13, yellow and red. אם כן מגאולת מצרים נוכל להתחזק. We could be stronger with faith in God. שעתיד הקדוש ברוך הוא לגאול אותנו. In the future, Hashem is going to redeem us from all the 4 גלויות. How do you know? שהרי אם הקדוש ברוך הוא הוציאנו מקליפה. Now, remember the word קליפה? What is קליפה? Give me the translation.
The shell.
The shell, the klipa. Okay? If Hashem, now which klipa is really the thick one? Egypt. So if Hashem take us from the thick klipa, like Egypt, how much and more so will take us out from Madai, Yavan, and Babel, and Edom. Beautiful explanation of Ari and Bnei Saschar. Now, do you remember the saying? I'll say it in English, you tell me this in Hebrew. Remove for evil and do good.
שם צור מרע ועשה טוב.
Excelente, Berit. Say, Sur mera va'aseh tov. Cappuccino, I didn't say it. Cappuccino, you have to work harder. Say, Sur mera. Now, when what is Sur mera? If you want to be Baal Tshuva, you make Tshuva. What first thing you have to do? To detach yourself from what? From the sin. Nachon? That's Sur mera. First of all, to remove the sin. After I remove the sin from me, from myself, then I can get closer to Hashem. I can make Tshuva. You tell me now, what should we do? What is the 4 words of redemption? The 4 words of redemption is a process how to detach yourself from whom? From Egypt. Because Egypt is the poison of the world. Egypt is the devil of the world. Egypt is the corrupted country of the world. Nothing worse than Egypt. So if you want me to get married to you, you want me to give you redemption, detach yourself, disconnect yourself from Egypt. So look, it says here, here's his word. 4 שלבים, we have 4 steps to detach ourselves from Egypt. עד להתחברות עם הקדוש ברוך הוא, until you get connected to השם. לא כיסא, בביאור ליין 7, גאולפה על פי מה שנגאו רמב"ן רבנו בחיי אור החיים כלי יקר, all these great rabbis, they said the same thing. How? He says, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים, והצלתי אתכם בעבודתם, right? We have two words of redemption now here. והוצאתי והצלתי, נכון? The first portion, I'll take you out of what?
esclavitud.
מתחת סבלות מצרים. Remember the word סבלות? The word סבלות is a key word for us. In English, I saw bondage. I don't like really the word bondage so much. You know what is סבלנות in Hebrew?
סכנות.
סבלנות.
patience, סבלנות.
נכון, patient. You know another word. Patient and tolerance. Tolerance. Okay, so סבלות is come more the word. You will see more tolerance, you know, than it is. We'll say, בתחת, so the first word of redemption, I'll take you out of the סבלות מצרים. The second one, I'll save you out of the slavery. Tell me, what is the difference between the first word and the second word? You understand what my question? That means, what is the difference between סבלות מצרים and עבודתם? What is the difference between סבלות מצרים and their slavery?
The second one is harder.
What?
The second one is harder.
How do you know?
Because it's
I'll tell you what I'm going to try to direct you. One, there is some redemption when you have to be redeemed. You have to be redeemed spiritually or physically.
spiritual.
That's it?
Both.
You need both.
Yeah.
But to be redeemed physically, but first you have to be redeemed spiritually. So סבלות מצרים is more spiritually. It's tolerance, to tolerance the עבודת הזרה של מצרים. But מעבודתם is really, you know, the hard labor. So he said, before I take you out from physical world, I want you to detach yourself from the סבלות מצרים. So we see the spirit, the spirituality, and the physically is coming together. It's one, you know, one with the other. You cannot be, even you are free men. You know how many free men I know they are slaves? You know they are slaves of whom? They are slaves of their boss. They are slaves of the society. Look at the young generation. What the young generation doing today? Did you see today, could you see somebody in the street, you know, without tattoo on his hand? Almost everybody with tattoo.
Terrible.
You know, 50 years ago, when you see tattoo, everybody point to the person. Look, he has a tattoo on his hand or on his neck. Today, if somebody without tattoo, you can see, look, this man is without tattoo. He's not normal. So now we say, you know, that's called slavery. You know, slavery of whom? Of the society. Because they're trying to mimic all the celebrities. Because one movie star or one basketball player put tattoo, so the people think they have to put tattoo too. But that's slavery, that's not freedom. So remember, so that's why the connection between the first redemption and the second word of redemption. והוצאתי והצלתי. והוצאתי is out of the spirituality, and והצלתי is out physically. שפת אמת Ed, and you know, remember, שפת אמת is the grandson of Rabbi Yitzhak Meir חידושי הרים, and he said here in line 17, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים, he said, שמעתי מאדוני אבי זקני מורי ורבי, I heard from my grandfather. Remember, שפת אמת, his grandfather was Rabbi Yitzhak Meir. Rabbi Yitzhak Meir was for the first Admor of the Gur, and he learned from his grandfather. I told you one time, שפת אמת became an orphan when he was 8 years old. And who adopted him? His grandfather. So his grandfather was teaching him when he was 10 years old, or he was already in the Kabbalah. So you can imagine to yourself who is Sfat Emet. By the way, do you know who is the son of Sfat Emet? The son of Sfat Emet is Rabbeinu Avraham Mordechai, By the way, do you know, so he has a book, Imre Emet. Sfat Emet is the grandson of Rabbi Yitzhak Meir. Rabbi Amnon Mordechai Imre Emet is the son of Sfat Emet. Do you know, by the way, where I live? The name of the place? I live in a moshav called Bnei Re'em. I ask my people in my moshav, do you know what is Re'em mean? Re'em mean is abbreviation of Rabbeinu Avraham Mordechai. And many people do not know it. Rabbeinu Avraham Mordechai is the son of the Sfat Emet. Because the Gur, when he came in 1947, 48, 49, they settled in Ar Moshav. And that's why the name of the Moshav and his name. So he said, but just in general information. So he said, Ba'otzetia. So he said what he said. Shamati ma'adoni, I heard from my grandfather, Perush Sivlot. What is Sivlot? Remember I told you what is the meaning of the word Sivlot? It is very complicated word to translate. שלא יוכלו לסבול על כל פנים טומאת מצרים, ומזה באה הגאולה אחר כך. מוסיף על כך, I will explain every word, שיש ללמוד מכאן לקח נשגב, והוא עצה יעוצה. Now this is good advice for all of us. What? על ידי שמרגיל עצמו להיות שונא הרע בתכלית השנאה, כעניין שאמרו ז"ל, ירגיז אדם יצר טוב על יצר רע, וזה התחלת הגאולה. Tell me now, what's so dangerous in the גלות? What's so bad in America? America is democracy. What's so bad? It's Panama. Panama is good or not good?
It depends.
Depends on what? So I would like, I don't want to disappoint you. The fact that you don't have a clear answer, that's so how dangerous it is. Because why you like Panama? You got used to it. So you can get used to even for something negative. So you know what is Sivlot? The Jewish people, they were so many years in Egypt, they got tolerance to their Avodah Zarah.
Wow.
They got tolerance, they got used to it. So now what Hashem said, you know what the first word of redemption? I will take you out of this tolerance. Because the moment you have tolerance to accept the Avodah Zarah of Egypt, you will be Oved Avodah Zarah too. If you like America, you will be American. If you like Australia, you'll be Australian. You like Panama, you'll be Panamanian. You want to tell me the culture in Panama and Israel is the same culture? No, it's not the same culture. It's different civilization. So now he said, I will not, the dangerous, why people do not come back to Eretz Israel? Because they got used to it. The moment you get used to it, now they got used to Egypt? Yes. You think if you and me will be in Egypt, we'll be like today? No, we'll be probably like everybody else. He said, oh, okay, they can see, they can worship idols. Do you think how many Jews, they believe in idols? Yes, they did. They got used to it. Did you remember in Erev Pesach what we have to do?
To take the goat and put it in the bed to make it the sacrifice.
Why we have to take Korban Pesach?
Because they're gods. So
Because I want you. Remember they put the blood? Where they put the blood?
in the doorpost inside the house.
Martha, you have good memory. You have good memory because people think, where is the blood? Outside.
Outside.
No, to you. When you look at the blood inside the house, the angel can pass over. He doesn't need blood. He knows which house is Jewish house. But it's for you to know that this is not your God. If you show me that you can slaughter the Korban Pesach, that's an action to show you do not believe what they believe. So that's why the first condition is sivlot, tolerance. Not to tolerate, not to have any savlanut, any patience, nothing. I tell you, I don't know if I told you, I think I told you 2 weeks ago, my granddaughter, my first granddaughter, she was 18. And they celebrated birthday for them, big birthday, 18. You know what is 18? Is big one. I told her, you know one thing, I'm waiting for your shidduch. You know, you are the first one to give me my 4th generation. So I'm trying to push her to get married. But you know, so the 3rd night, she asked her parents to go to Manhattan to see the light of the Christmas. because in Manhattan there is a celebration of lights, not Hanukkah, Christmas. You know, I called her immediately. He said, "You dare, my granddaughter, you're not going over there. You're not going over there. That's worshiping idols.
Yes.
That's worshiping idols." Do you remember who built up the first temple?
Shlomo HaMelech.
Do you remember what was the first day of the Mishkan, of Bet HaMikdash? What they missed? Korban HaTamid.
Korban Tamid.
Why? Because Shlomo was sleeping and the key was under his pillow. Why he was sleeping? Because his wife, you know who was his wife? Bat Paro.
But Pharaoh.
Bat Paro, she took him to Avodah Zarah. She took him to Avodah Zarah to see the light, celebration of light, so we didn't know the time. You get mixed up. I don't know many of you, you know, at Hatayanim, I remind you, you know, my sins when I was younger. Sometimes we stop in Las Vegas. We went to casino. You know what I found out in the casino? You know what I found out? Lights. You know what kind of lights? That you would not know what time is it. And then somebody told me they have air oxygen on the air, that you will not be tired. So he said they have shtick and tricks that you will put your money in the casino and not to go home. You don't say up chick and it's already morning and you lost $20,000 from your pocket. And he said, that's Avodah Zarah. So he said, Misivlot, I will give you the power. Listen, I'll give you the power not to have any tolerance to their Avodah Zarah. Don't accept it. Don't say it's okay. It's not okay. Then I will take you out physically. In look here, line 14. Line 14, red and yellow. Beautiful explanation. לכן, therefore, כאשר ראה הקדוש ברוך הוא כי בני ישראל מתחילים לסבול את המצרים, when Hashem saw that the Jewish people started to tolerate the Egyptian, יש בזה סכנה גדולה. It's a big danger. שיתערבו בהם. They will get mixed up. They will have intermarriage. וילמדו ממעשיהם, and they will worship the idols as well. That's why Hashem said the first action I take is מתחת סבלות מצרים. I will help you. You know, my first redemption word is not to have zero tolerance to the civilization and the culture of Egypt. Because if you have tolerance, it's not good. So now, you the Panamanian, it doesn't mean you have to hate the Panamanian, Has v'Shalom. But you have to hate their culture. You know, their civilization. That's antithesis of our culture. But you are in a big risk and big danger more than I am in Israel. Even in Israel there is big danger, but not like in the Galut. Now, do you remember why we eat matzah?
Because we left in a hurry and we did not have time.
Why in a hurry? Why in a hurry?
Hashem said we should have the stick in the hand and everything packed to go.
But why? Why you said why to do this? What if we have delay 5 minutes?
Because we are on the 50.
Very good. They are what Paro is doing in sink you in the water of the impurity of the world. Now he said if you will get, tolerance to this, he said, Velo yachlu להתמהמה. You know what is Velo yachlu להתמהמה? Line 4. They could not hesitate even. No hesitation. Immediately to go out. Because 1 more minute, you will reach the 50th gate. If you reach the 50th gate, kaput. No more Jews. No more freedom. That's why in Haggadah shel Pesach, Harizal, it says, יש 50 שערי טומאה, line 6, 50 gate of impurity. אם היו ישראל מעוכבים רגע אחד, if they were delayed 1 minute, they will never be out of Egypt. They will sing the 50th gate. אור החיים הקדוש said in line 9, ולצא הוציאם בנקודה האחרונה של מ"ט שערי טומאה. He said that's why everything was in a hurry it was mamash before they entered the 50th gate. לכן גאלה מיד. What is מיד? Immediately. He redeemed them. הרי מבואר כי לקראת סוף גלות מצרים, היו ישראל נמצאים, they were in big danger, because they almost reached the 50th gate. That's why Hashem said, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. That I will give you the ability not to have the ability to tolerance Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? I'll give you the ability not to have tolerance to Egypt. You know, not to tolerate no impurity, because if you have tolerance to Egypt, you will sink in the 50th gate. And only if you redeem yourself, you detach yourself from the civilization of Egypt, this you can be saved from the 50th gate. So tell me now, you, what is the goal of Paro? He wanted Jews
to the 50th gate.
Very good. All the goal of Paro is to put them in the 50th gate. Paro knew, he was smart enough to understand, if they reach the 50th gate, they will never be out of Egypt. Do you remember, let's see now, I test your memory. Okay? Do you remember who another Goy, Yimach Shmo v'Zichro, also played the 50th gate?
Haman.
Yes, Martha. No, remind us. What was it?
He wanted to hang Mordecai from the stick with the
What was the height of the tree?
50.
50. Why 50? Why not 60? Why not 40? 50. He said if they will be the 50th gate, they will be in that they will be our slave forever. They will be destroyed completely. So the remember, many going, they understood this mysticism. So now that's why. So remember, Paro on one side want us to stay one more minute to sink in the 50th gate, and Hashem and Moshe on the other side trying what? To save the Jews from the 50th gate. Now that's the connection between the first two words of redemption. Remember? והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם. First is zero tolerance to the civilization of Egypt, and then I'll save you physically from their hard labor. By the way, which country of all the galuyot is the most dangerous galut?
Edom.
What?
Edom.
Edom is out of the four kingdoms. But who is the most? Egypt. We said Egypt is the most corrupted country. We said it a few minutes ago, nachon? Now, listen what Nes Hashem did. Hashem want the Egyptian to hate us or to love us?
To hate us.
To hate us.
To hate us. Why? Listen why. He said, Israel בגלות, he said, הקדוש ברוך הוא חשש שיתערבו ישראל בגלות בין האומות. נכון? He knew that if we will go to the galut, we will have intermarriage. לכן הביא אותם, what was the first galut? Egypt. נכון? He הביא אותם, therefore he brought them to Egypt. Why? Because the hatred of the Egyptian to the Jews was the peak, was the highest one. Why? כדי להצילם. Now, if there is a hatred between Egypt and Israel, what we prevent? Intermarriage.
Yes.
He said Hashem created the hatred. As a matter of fact, many Egyptians love the Jews very much. But Hashem did not want this love. He wanted the hatred. By the way, do you remember today? Look what's going on in Hague next week. You know what's going on in Hague? Do you know what? South Africa sue us.
See.
Yes? And South Africa sue us to Hague to go to the court. And we are criminal. I would sue South Africa and Hamas. They are criminal. Because we know, Be'ezrat Hashem, we are in trouble. But I hope Be'ezrat Hashem will help us to convince and to show who is the criminal. If I will tell you, I'm sure I'm without any exaggeration. If there is an ethical army and morals army in the world, number one is IDF. Sometimes too ethical. But he said, You know, Israel is the last country you can accuse them to be, you know, to have genocide in another country. But that's what they do. And when Hashem, you know what he said? Hashem brought, when he called the mountain, we get the Torah. What was the name of the mountain?
Monte Sinai.
Do you know why it's Sinai?
It was the humblest one.
Because what?
It was humble, it was low, and it was not...
That's why you answered the question, why on Har Sinai? I asked, what is the meaning of the word Sinai? You know what happened in the world when we received the Torah? Anti-Semitism.
Envy, hatred.
Hatred. How do you say hatred in Hebrew?
Sinai.
Sin'ah. Sinai is came from the word Sin'ah.
Sinai.
Sin'ah fell upon the world. And you know, it's good or bad?
It's good
Why it's good?
to be
No
separate.
assimilation.
Oh, if we have love, we then said, you know, Hachamim Odu. Say, thank you, Hashem. Because the people don't like us, we have less intermarriage. Look what's going on in America, what's going on in Australia, that the relationship is very good. You know, they don't hate us. What happened? Intermarriage is very high. But if Chas v'Shalom, we will have really tension between us and them, we will have much less intermarriage. So Hashem brought the hatred to Egypt. And that's why the first galut is Egypt. כי באמת מצרים עצמם רצו לאהוב את ישראל, they wanted. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not let this happen. He wanted to have the hatred, to put a mechitza, to put really divider between the Jews and the Egypt. Now look at Masechet Sotah, the Gemara. What it says the Gemara? ויעבידו מצרים את בני ישראל בפרך. The Egyptian had hard labor upon the Jewish people. What is befarech? Hard labor. Very hard labor. What is parech? Parech is a new word to say hard labor. But if you split the word to two, Rabbi Elazar said beperach. What is perach? Soft mouth. What is soft mouth? They were not cruel to the Jewish. They were very, very softly. They were so nice. They were talking so nicely to the Jews, you know, and slowly, they started to slave, you know, to enslave them. said, לפי האמור יש לומר שאלו ואלו דברי אלוקים, כי מתחילה, אמנם שעבדו, in the beginning they were very friendly. פרח. Why? You know, to show we are very friends, good friends, we love you. למושכם בדרכי נועם, שיתערבו בהם, they will have intermarriage, they will be with them, mix them up. אלא שהקדוש ברוך הוא הפך את ליבם. Hashem changed their heart to hate the Jewish people, and instead perach, they made parech, hard labor. By making hard labor, it was big tension and big mechitza, big divider between the Egyptian and the Jews. There is a beautiful pasuk, beautiful. In Tehillim, it says, Hafach libam lisno amo. What is Hafach libam? Hashem turned their heart to hate his nation. Who is their heart? The Egyptian. Hashem takes the heart of the Egyptian to hate the Jewish people. You will see in 2 minutes how important it was. Do you remember the relationship between us and Egypt in Yosef's time?
Honeymoon.
Beautiful relationship. Beautiful relationship. And then in Sefer Shmot, Vayakom Melech Hadash. New king. He didn't know. Isher lo yada et Yosef. He didn't know Yosef. Remember what he didn't know? Could you imagine that Biden doesn't know Trump? It doesn't make sense. Lo yada was not connected to Yosef. Yosef said there is no slavery. He said there is slavery. Yosef said there is one God. He said, no, I am God. Everything. Do you know, remember how many years Yosef was in Egypt? Do you remember how many years? 80 years. He started in his beginning when he was 30 years old. And he passed away 110. 80 years he was, and all the Egyptians follow Yosef's God. Believe it or not, every Egyptian made the Brit Milah. He changed completely Egypt to worship God and not to worship idols. It's Gan Eden idea until the new king came. The new king came, changed everything. All the 80 years of Yosef, kaput. Done. History. Now who has to fight against Paro? Moshe. Moshe is instead of Yosef. Moshe was the Talmid of Yosef. I tell you now, when Yosef was, even the Egyptian had Brit Milah. Do you know what happened after Yosef died? I don't know, it will be maybe surprise for you and disappointment for you. Even the Jews stopped to do Brit Milah. The Jews. Look, line 5. כשמת יוסף הפרו ברית מילה. They didn't make ברית מילה. אמרו נהיה כמצרים. We should be like the Egyptian. Remember what is tolerance? They don't ברית מילה? So, not big deal. We'll not do ברית מילה. מכאן אתה למד שמשה, do you remember when they make the ברית מילה? When they went out of Egypt, the first thing that Moshe did was ברית מילה. מכאן כן? וכיוון שעשו כן הפך קדוש ברוך הוא שעבר, that's why hatred is not always negative. Sometimes hatred, you say, I'll give you a fable. I tell you a metaphor. If you have a son or a daughter, they're going with a criminal, friend's criminal. You know, do you like it?
No.
No parents will like it. Now you tell them, don't go out with him, he's, influence you. He's not do this, he's part of the mafia, he's part of this, he's a criminal. Don't do. The son doesn't listen to you. You know what you have to pray? To have hatred between his friends and him. If they will have hatred, he will not be with them. So now when the Jewish people were under the influence of the Egyptian, Hashem created hatred, sin'ah, between Egypt and Israel. So you see, sometimes hatred is good. Sometimes, not always. Now Hatam Sofer came to the picture. Every time we mention Hatam Sofer, we know he's going to give us beautiful explanation. Said, Arami Oved Aviv, we do it in the Agadah. Arami Oved Aviv, וירד מצרמה ויגר שם במתי מעט. ויהי שם לגוי גדול עצום ורב. Now remember the Agadah, he really described how the Egyptian treated it. וירעו אותנו המצרים. The Egyptian word, what's the ra? What is ra? Bad. They were bad to us. וירעו אותנו המצרים. ויענונו. What is ויענונו? They tortured us. ויתנו עלינו עבודה קשה. They gave us very hard labor. That's his word. He said, נראה לי שאף על פי שאבותינו התהלכו מגו אל גו ממלכה אל עם אחר, even though our Jews went from country to country, מכל מקום, בכל מקום שהלכו, היה ליבם ועינם. You know, many Jews. Now, when you're in Panama, your heart, now, where is your heart? Not in Jerusalem? You don't think about IDF? You don't think what's going on here? Every single Jewish, even he's in the Galut, the string that connect him to Israel, always there. Jews cannot detach themselves from Eretz Israel. Let me tell you a story that happened to me. I was in New York. When I was in New York, I was a student, I was a single. You know, I said I went to an electric store, you know, when they sell TV and all different kind, you know, iPad, etc., etc. And I saw one Israeli there. He said, I would like to buy TV multi-system. Now, do you know what is multi-system? Do you know the outlet in America? The outlet in America is like Panama. Is 110 or 220?
110.
110. And in Israel?
220.
220. Now, multi-system, you can use both.
Yeah.
You don't need the adapter. You don't need the adapter. As he said, give me multi-system. So I asked the Israeli, I said, you're making Aliyah, you're going back to Israel? He said, no, not at all. He said, so why you need multi-system? You know what multi-system? To pay more? He said, you never know. You know, we are Israelis. We think, you know, maybe tomorrow I'll come back. Now I'm not going back, but you know, it could be every day. So, you know, everybody in the Galut, even you, even not in your conscience, in your subconscious. You know, you always Israel, you know, in the back of your subconscious, and you know that you have connection to Eretz Israel. That's the Jews. That's the power of the Jews. He said, לגור בארץ בנו ולא להתיישב, כי בכל רגע. So what they said to Egypt when they came, we want to be a stranger. What is stranger? Ger, zar. Ger zar is temporary or permanently?
Temporary.
Temporary. No, we don't want to settle. We just come, lagur ba'aretz, to be ger. Ger is a stranger. Do you know how the Israelis, falling apart? I am one of them. After we became a tourist, I came with a visa as tourist. Then my visa changed in YU to be a student visa. And then they hired me to be a rabbi in Holyoke, Massachusetts. And you know what they made for me? Green card.
Wow.
You know what is green card? That's already permanent. That's the first move we get, after 5 years, I got citizenship.
Yes.
It's good or bad?
Bad.
Very bad. Good, because it's very easy. You don't need visa. When I have to fly, I don't need visa. I don't need anything. But it's really dangerous. How many people got citizenship? They never saw Israel anymore. But he said that's why, step by step. First tourist, then student, then green card, then citizenship. He said, no, give us, lagur. Just he said lagur. But when they saw Yosef, how good the life is, look at Be'en and Parashat, Vayeshvu Sham, they settled over there. They liked the country. America. Mitzrayim was America, especially when they have representative in the White House. You remember, the king of the White House is Yosef. So what else? So people do not understand. Parashat Vayehi. You know what's so unique about Vayehi, the last parasha of Bereshit? It's called Parashat Stuma. You know what is Stuma? Between each parasha and each parasha, there is a space of 9 letters. Okay, when you have a new parasha, you have a space, between the last word of the parasha and the new word of this parasha. So the Hazan, very easy. But Vayehi, no space. It's called Parashat Stuma. Why? Because their eyes been closed. Why their eyes been closed? Conception. You know what is conception? They did not realize the Egyptian enslaved them slowly. They said it's impossible. Our brother is Yosef. They think they will take Yosef as their God forever. No. The moment Yosef died, forget about Yosef. Yosef is history. So remember what happened to us in Simchat Torah? Conception. They will never do it to us. Remember in Yom Kippur War, what happened? Conception. Because sometimes we make mistake, we come with assumption that the assumption is zero, nothing. Don't go with conception. And that's what happened in Parashat Vayehi. They closed their eyes. They said everything is okay. You see your son is getting really good friendship with a Goya? Don't say she's okay, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. They start very friendly. They will end up with a chuppah in the church. That's what happened. So he said, don't go to conception. Okay, all this we explained already. So the first word, we found the connection. I just, conclusion. Now we understand the wonderful connection between the first 2 words. The first 2 words, one was remember spiritually. The second one was physically. Now, do you remember now we learned already also, the 49th gate of the impurity. What now, Paro, you said Paro wanted them to stay, to sink in the 50th one. What he has to do? You know what he has to do? To let them sink in the 50th gate? Just to have tolerance and not to have time. Now listen to this. We'll learn this one time in different angle. Now, do you remember what is Kal Vachomer, Nachon? When Hashem said to Moshe, Moshe said to Hashem, I gave them 4 words of redemption. Did they listen to him or not?
No. They had hard work, hard labor.
יפה, very good, Martha. They didn't listen to Moshe. Now, they didn't listen to Moshe. He said, I'm giving you good news. I'm going to redeem you. ולא שמעו אל משה מקוצר רוח מעבודה קשה. They didn't listen to Moshe. So Moshe said to Hashem, he said to Hashem, וידבר משה לפני השם לאמור, הן בני ישראל לא שמעו אליי. The Jewish people didn't listen to me. איך ישמעני פרעה? הפרעה will listen to me. ואני ערל שפתיים. You know, I have problem with my lips. Rashi said is one of the 10 Kal Vachomer. Now, if you remember, we asked the question, now we have different answer. Is this Kal Vachomer? Do you know what is Kal Vachomer? In order to have Kal Vachomer, now why the Jewish people did not listen?
Because they had a hard labor.
Hard work. To have Kal Vachomer, Paro has to have harder work. If it's Kal Vachomer. But it's not Kal Vachomer. Kal Vachomer, believe me, Paro did not work hard at all. He was getting up 11 o'clock with an nargila, you know, and smoking and, you know, and doing, you know, fun, a lot of fun. He did not work very hard. He said, what Rashi says is one of the 10 Kal Vachomer. Look, that's the question. שהרב בני ישראל לא שמעו אל משה מחמת קושי השעבוד. ולא שמעו אל משה, they didn't listen to משה מקוצר רוח, for hard patient, impatient, ועבודה קשה, and hard labor. So how this Kal Vachomer is not Kal Vachomer? ואחר שבאו משה פרעה. Now I would like to go to explain to you what is the Kal Vachomer. Paro commanded his policemen what to do, you know, to give harder labor every day. Don't give them straw, don't give them bricks, let them do everything. כי נרפים העם, צועקים, they are lazy. They're screaming all the way, we want to sacrifice to our God. No, you know what I want you to do? תכבד העבודה על אנשים. Give them harder work and don't let them to be under illusion, under fake life. What Moshe is teaching them to sacrifice to God is fake. In order to prevent this fake, according to Paro, I want you to give them harder labor. Now let me ask you a question. If you are a king and you want to have good product from your slave, would you give them time to rest or not?
Yes.
No.
No. If your slave is not resting, he will give you the same production? He produce you the same?
No.
No. So in order to have good production, good benefit, what you have to give him?
Rest.
Rest. Give him rest. And don't give him so hard because he's human being. You know, there is a limit. What Paro is doing? Harder. So he said, Paro, you're not stupid. Why you give them hard labor? Look at the question, line 7. You see, שין is שאלה. יש לתמוך, איזה תועלת חשב פרעה להשיג מכך שתכבד העבודה על אנשים? What benefit Paro has to give harder labor? Because not only they not going to work hard, they will have motivation to be out of Egypt. They will not be able to take it. And what Paro wants them? To love Egypt. Not to go out of Egypt. So Paro, by doing this, you go against your will. I repeat again. If you give them hard work, you know, very hard labor, number one, you will not have the same production. Number two, the slave wants to be out. Now, if you have good respect to your slave, and you give them love, and you give them patience, the slave might love you, and might stay. So why Paro give them hard labor? Now there is a fight between Paro and Hashem. Remember what Hashem is doing? ולא יכלו להתמהמה? What Hashem is doing? Not to hesitate, to do everything quick. Why everything quick?
Not too fast to the 15th
The 50th shot, the 50th gate. What Paro wants?
Let them get to it.
So what he's doing now, not to have think about the redemption, harder work, not to have even 1 minute to think. Because you know, one more inch, they reach the 50th gate. If they reach the 50th gate, it's over. I won. That's why he gave them hard work. He said, you know, all what Paro wants and what Hashem is doing, you know, we are lucky that Hashem is against Paro. Because Hashem took us in few seconds, ולא יכלו להתמהמה, to be out of the 50th gate. But Paro's ideal, Paro's vision, Paro's destination and goal is to give them hard work, not to have any patience, even not to listen to Moshe. Don't listen to this nonsense. Stay, stick to the 50th gate. So now, בצריך להבין, we have to understand how the Jewish people came to this bottom line to go to the 49th gate, almost the 50th gate. How is it possible? How much down we can go? What they say, yeah, remember we said that all this what I skipping, I explained to you. Now, if you are working for somebody is worshipping idol. Terach, the father of Abraham, his business worshipping idols. Now, Terach hired me to be his electrician, not to worship idol. Am I allowed to work for him?
Yes.
So I tell you the halacha is no.
No.
Why? If you work for a man that worshipping idols, is like you worshipping idols.
Wow.
Look what it says in Sefer Dvarim. ועבדתם שם אלוהים מעשה ידי אדם עץ ואבן אשר לא יראון ולא ישמעון ולא יאכלון ולא יריחון. And you go over there, the pricking, working for wood and stone and trees, which is idols. Rashi, he says, משאתם עובדים לעובדיהם כאילו אתם עובדים להם. When you work for somebody who's worshipping idols, it's like you worship idols. Look how far I have to be for people who worshipping idols. He said, no, I'm just fixing his light. No, don't fix his light. Because he's going to use the light for what? For worshipping idols.
Yes.
So he said, הרי לנו דברים ברורים. Now it's clear from ספר דברים, כאשר עובדים ומשפדדים לעובדי עבודה זרה, when you are enslaved yourself to people that working עבודה זרה, יש השפעה גדולה על מי שעובד בשבילם. There is a big influence on you, upon you. That Hashem will consider it to you that you are worshipping idols, even that in action you did not. But do not support somebody worshipping idols. Period. כאשר ראה פרעה כי ישראל מסכימים ללכת עם משה, when Paro saw that the Jewish people are willing to go with Moshe to sacrifice, he understood that it's going to be almost impossible to reach the 50th gate. Because if they will be near the 50th gate, they would not go with Moshe. They don't know what is Kedusha anymore. So the fact that they agree, Paro understood they are very far from the 50th gate. That's why he gave them very, very hard work to fight and to try to get them close. Now you understand the Kal Vachomer? Look what is the Kal Vachomer. וידבר משה כן ולא שמעו אל משה. כלומר, הסיבה שלא שמעו אל משה, the reason they didn't listen to Moshe is because of the hard labor. שעבדו בהם המצרים. שעל ידי זה מה ששקעו במ"ט, because they working very hard, they were on the 49th gate of the impurity. עד שלא היו מסוגלים, they would not be able to listen even to דבר תורה. What are you talking about? הוצאתי והצלתי וגאלתי ולקחתי, is דבר תורה. They have patience to listen? No. They have no ability to listen to him.
But
Now,
I have a question, Raftaili.
what?
I have a question, but this will never happen if they don't pray to God to save them.
Who pray?
Am
They
Israel.
didn't.
Can.
didn't pray.
They prayed after all the process.
They cry.
But we do it in 2 minutes. But in the beginning, before the hard labor, they didn't want to be in Egypt, but they got used to it. They got used to it. That's dangerous. That's exactly what we're learning. In the beginning, they couldn't take it. They hate the Egyptian. But, slowly said, we got used to it. We get used to it. When we get used to it, he said, Malka, if you come to Israel now, and you will be 5 years, 10 years in Israel, you will not believe that you were so many years in Panama.
I agree.
You will not believe. He said, how I spent so many years in Panama. But you know why you're in Panama? Not only your family are there, not only your business is in Panama, but you got used to it.
Yes.
Remember. And בני ישראל לא שמעו. Now look at the קל וחומר. בני ישראל שמצד שורש נשמתם. Now who is more kadosh? The Jewish people or Paro? Of course the Jewish people.
Jewish.
Now Moshe said to Hashem, Bnei Israel, that the roots of the Jewish people, the children of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, they are holy, they are kadosh, they are good. And in spite of the fact they are children of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, did they listen to me?
No.
No. Why they didn't listen to me? Because they are in the 49th gate. Because they're working very hard labor. So you want now, who is the roots of the impurity?
Paro.
Paro. So you want Paro to listen to me?
No.
Who created all this nonsense? So you understand now the Kal Vachomer according to Hatam Sofer? So he said Hatam Sofer, Bnei Israel, they have some sort, of Kedusha. Some sort of Kedusha, they didn't listen to me. Now, if you remember 2 years ago, I told you Maharal Miprag is a beautiful Maharal Miprag about the Kal Vachomer. Because at the end he said, Va'ani aral sfatayim. Nachon? What has to do that is aral sfatayim to do with the Kal Vachomer? What a connection. He said, Bnei Israel didn't listen to me, Paro will listen to me. And Hashem said, don't forget that I have problem with my lips. Wow, what a connection. Look, Maharal Miprag said beautiful answer. He said to him, Moshe was the most, I would say, the most spiritual human being in the world. You agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Since when?
When he was born.
Since he was born. Very good. That's the shiur I wanted to give you. And I gave you last week. Do you remember what came when he was born? What was in the house?
Light.
Light.
A light.
But yeah, when she opened the teva, what she saw?
Yes.
Light.
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 The light, the
Yes.
Or Moshe. Moshe was the most spiritual man. But I'll tell you one more secret. Let's see, Martha, if you remember this. When Moshe was born, Moshe said, is a complete person or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Complete, the most complete, I would say. Nachon? You agree?
Yes.
Yes.
If he is the most complete, why is he stuttering? If you have a problem with your lips, are you complete? Are you perfect?
No.
You're not perfect. You agree?
But
Big
then
question,
he
$1 million
after.
question. Cappuccino. He said, listen to this. The Maharal Miprag asked this question. How could you say that Moshe was perfect? He was not perfect. He has a problem with his lips. Everybody, every baby boy, every children, every baby, not baby boy, baby boy, baby girl. Every child knows that Moshe was a problem with his lips. Everybody.
The problem came when he burned his lips with Paro.
Yeah, are you telling me why? But I'm asking, is it perfect or not?
When he born, he was perfect.
It's not perfect. So why you said Moshe was perfect? What?
When he born, he was
Yes.
perfect.
You mean
After became imperfect.
I tell you what happened.
He has the most connection with Hashem.
But why? Why? Now listen to this. Listen. Do you remember what the Ashkenazim doing one night, one Shabbat before the Brit?
Zohar.
Shalom Zachar, nachon? What the Sfaradim doing one night before?
Okay.
The Zohar. Brit Yitzhak,
Zohar,
nachon?
Brit
But
Zohar, yes.
the Ashkenazim doing Shalom Zachar, you know why? They give to eat like Avelim, food of Avelim. Why? The baby this is the first Shabbat that he has. You know what the baby, why we have to mourn when the baby is born? We have say Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Why you have to mourn? You know why you have to mourn? What he knew in the womb of his mother and he doesn't know now.
The Torah.
The Torah.
The Torah. What happened in the Torah? Do you remember? What happened? The angel gave him, a hit in his lips. Nachon? Now listen to Moshe. I'll tell you what happened to Moshe. Moshe, when you have, how many senses we have in the face?
How many what?
How many senses we have in the face?
The nose, the
Five.
mouth.
In the face, four.
Four.
The sight, the nose, the mouth, and the ear. Nachon?
Yes.
Now, there are some organs, they are passive, and some organs are active. Okay? If I'm talking to you with my mouth, is active or passive?
Active.
Is active. Which part really is very passive?
The nose.
The nose.
No, the nose, when you smell, you do some action.
The
The
touch.
ears.
The sight,
eyes.
the sight.
eyes.
The sight and the
Eyes.
listening
Eyes.
is very passive. Okay? To look, you don't have to do anything. To listen, you don't have to do anything. To smell a little bit more, you have, to inhale. נכון? And to talk, you have to take spirit in the wind out of the mouth. And it's mamash action. So what is the most physic part of the four senses?
The mouth.
The mouth. Now, Moshe was spiritual or physically?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. So even the mouth that is physically is not with Moshe
Wow.
because of his perfections. Because he's perfect. You know what? You know what happened to Moshe that all of us happened? What everybody's happened to him? What everybody, baby, forget the Torah. Nachon? And you know what, Moshe? You know, but the kindergarten teacher, the first grade teacher, I don't know, what happened to you? You said, what? He said, what happened to the baby? The angel came and what?
Hit him in the nose.
Hit him, right? And not only this, they told us the story, you see, on my lips, there is a Sheka valley, So this is from the... Rabotai, nonsense. And let me explain to you what Maharal said. You know what he said? We hit. Do you remember in halacha what we call when you do a melacha? Let's say I have a table, okay? I need to put just the nail, and the table is ready, the desk is ready. So the nail is the last action to make the desk.
Patish.
Yafe, give me the whole explanation. Makeh bepatish. Makeh bepatish. Remember this expression? This expression is to show you the last straw in the coffin. He said, that's the last part, of the action. What is the last part of the action of the baby?
To cry.
Is the one when they cry, the mouth. And this makkah, that's why we said not makkah hit. It's not hit, it's makkah bepatish. Is when the baby called baby is really by crying, by taking, some sound from his mouth. The moment he starts to give some sound, that's a complete job. That's Makeh bepatish. This Makeh bepatish kept Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the only one did not have Makeh bepatish. So what he has in his brain?
Torah.
The Torah. He never forgot the Torah. That's why he refused to drink the milk. Why? He said it's not kosher. But according to the halakha, you can drink. You can drink halav kuti. But he said, no. I keep halav Israel. I want halav Israel. So Moshe Rabbeinu is unique. So now, listen to this. Now go to the Kal Vachomer. So remember, Moshe did not have the makeh. So when he said the angel came hit, his expression makeh bepatish. Makeh bepatish, okay? Is it clear? So now Moshe is the only one was not. He was the most spiritual man. Even the problem with his mouth. He has a problem with his mouth because he's spiritual. Because talking is physically. Because he's perfect, because he's so spiritual, he has problem with the vowels, some letters to pronounce them. That's that one Moshe perfect. Who is the most gashmi, materialistic person in the world? Paro. So who is the antithesis of Moshe?
Paro.
Who is between? Who is kacha 50-50? Bnei Israel. Bnei Israel on one side in Egypt, on the other side they have some from Eretz Israel, from Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Now listen to this. Do you remember in geometry, two parallel lines, what?
Never get together.
Never meet each other, נכון? Moshe said to Hashem, my Hashem, Ribono Shel Olam, me and Paro is two parallel lines. Why? We never meet. I am all spiritual, he is more physically, he is Gashmi. We cannot meet each other. Now he is the opposite of me. Now, do you know, Bnei Israel, they are parallel to Moshe or they could be connected to Moshe? They could be. They have some sort of spirituality. So he said, Bnei Israel, they have some sort of Kedusha. Did not listen to me. Paro that not have Kedusha at all will listen to me. You understand the Kal Vachomer? It's beautiful Kal Vachomer. I repeat the Kal Vachomer. Moshe is spiritual 100%. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Now, the Jewish people, 50-50. Paro kama Kedusha, how many? 0.
0%.
נכון? 0 Kedusha. So he said, if Bnei Israel with 50-50 Kedusha don't listen to me, how the Egyptian, how Paro will listen to me? He's 0. He cannot. We are two parallel lines. Now you tell me why he mentioned Vani Aral Sfatayim? Why is Aral Sfatayim? Because he's spiritual man. He said, do you remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu? I didn't have Makeh Bepatish. Vani Aral Sfatayim. You know why Ani Aral Sfatayim? Because I'm very spiritual. That's why he put Aral Sfatayim. Two wonderful things, you know, that to understand the Kal Vachomer. Wow, echt time. Time is going very fast, but I go. Okay, the first two redemption words, redemption we learn. Let's now go to the second two. וגאלתי אתכם, כן? והוצאתי אתכם מתחת והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם. Now, the number 3. וגאלתי אתכם בזרוע נטויה ובשפטים גדולים. I will redeem you with a strong arm, with big miracles. על פי מה שיסד המגיד בהגדה של פסח, עבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים, ויוציאנו אדוני אלוהינו משם ביד חזקה. When we went out, Hashem used a very strong arm, בזרוע נטויה. ואילו לא הוציא, what happened today if Hashem would not take us out of Egypt? You know what? We would be today slaves in Egypt, until today. Now, listen what Hashem did. By the end, who really tell Moshe, get out of here?
Paro.
Paro. So Paro gave the okay?
Yes.
He did it with his heart?
No.
No, he didn't do it with. How do you know he didn't do it with his heart?
By pressure.
Because he changed his mind immediately.
He chased after them. That means I made a mistake. So you know what? Who really made him chase after the Jewish people? Hashem. You know what? What happened if he would stay in Egypt? The Jewish people said, after all, Paro was good to us. He let us go out. He gave us the permission. We have to have Hakarat Tov. Are you allowed to give Hakarat Tov to a Rasha like Paro? No. So what Hashem did, he said, Paro, take your horse and chase after them. Now when the Jewish people said, what Paro did let them go out or Hashem let them out? Hashem let them out. Do they have Hakarat Tov? Do they have to say Toda Rabah to Paro? No. Because they see he wanted them to be back. That's why Hashem forced Paro to go after, not to have Hakarat Tov. Not to have Hakarat Tov. Now I want you to understand one more thing. When the Jewish people were out of Egypt, they crossed the Red Sea. They were out of Egypt or not? Very silly question. I remember.
Physically, but not spiritually.
What did he say?
Physically, but not spiritually.
Okay. I tell you what, all the people from America, they doing now Aliyah. All of them really doing Aliyah? All of them stay in Israel? No. You know why?
They did not take America out of them.
They did not leave America, never. America is inside them. To be out of Egypt, what do you have to take out from your system? Egypt. The civilization, the culture, the Avodah Zarah, everything. In Bizmor Yom Hamishi we do, Lo yeh becha el zar. Do not have any stranger, idol inside you. You know what inside? If you're American and you go to Israel, what you have to touch yourself from what? From America. You have to know Israel is not America. If somebody puts you on the line to the bus, that's not a reason to go back to America. But you know why you went back to America? Because you never left America. Maybe physically you did, mentally you did not. So when you make Aliyah to Eretz Israel, when you go Be'ezrat Hashem soon from Panama to Israel, you won't be successful?
Disconnect.
Panama is out. I'm not saying, I'm not naive to say don't remember Panama. I remember Panama. I'm a Kal Vachomer, you will remember Panama. Of course you remember. You can remember America too. But don't enslave yourself to the culture of Panama. Don't enslave yourself to the culture of America. America is different culture. You have to know it. In Israel, there are many good things and many not good things. But why I came to Israel? Because of what? Because this is our homeland. Why we are fighting now with all our part? Why IDF fighting? Why we are united all of a sudden? You know what the Hamas, I'm sorry to say it, but one thing they did good. You know what they did good to us?
United us.
Don't be under illusion. Don't be under conception. We hate you. They remind us what Hitler did to us. And now even the left-wing people in Israel don't have the guts to say something that we have to remove from the Golan Heights or from the West Bank or for something. Because even now they know that they hate us and they don't like us. We said the sinah is there. And we mentioned already it could be good also, but we have to know that we have to be in Eretz Israel. We are in Eretz Israel because that's the land that Hashem promised to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Now, we take the 4 words and we almost finish. You know, he said we have the 4 words of redemption. If I divide the 4 words of redemption, I will divide them like this: 3 plus 1. Why 3? What is the first 3? V'otzeti v'etzalti v'ga'alti. What is v'otzeti v'etzalti v'ga'alti? Is to remove from Egypt, detach yourself from Egypt, spiritually or physically.
Both.
Both. And now the last one, Bizron Etuya. Why? When I split the Red Sea, you saw Paro, he hates you. Paro, they don't seem Toda Rabba to Paro, Has v'Shalom. Say Toda Rabba to Hashem, not to Paro. Hakarat Tov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now is the time for the 4th word of redemption. What is the 4th word of redemption?
Velakahti.
What is Velakahti?
I take you.
The big wedding. Yasis alaych elokaych kimsas hatan al kala. Where we are going, where is the wedding going to happen? Do you know which hall in Yerushalayim? Where?
Sinai.
On Mount Sinai, very good. He said, look, he said, after they are cleaned up completely from Egypt, and now Hashem is talking, they're going to receive the Torah on Har Sinai. Only after they remove themselves from Egypt. Remember, when I say remove from Egypt, is not physically only. It may even more important, mentally. They're not to copy any civilization from Egypt. אחרי שנפרדו, look here, line 14, שנפרדו לגמרי, they've been separated completely, מטומאת מצרים, from the impurity of Egypt, ראויים הם לקבל את התורה. Now they deserve to receive the Torah. And you know what we said? Look what he said, והייתם לי קדושים. Who is Kadosh? Which country is Kadosh? Which nation?
Am Israel.
Am Israel. So tell me, can you define me what is Kadosh? Can you define?
From impurity.
Yeah, but how do you say, if you open the dictionary, you know what is Kadosh? When you said, I said, this glass of water is the contribution to Bet Knesset.
Sanctified.
What? Sanctified.
Sanctified.
Nachon, but he said, well, you know what I did with this glass? It was mine. I've been separated this only to Bet Knesset. So Kadosh is separation. You know, Kedoshim to you, separate yourself from sins and Avodah Zarah. If you separate yourself, that's Kedusha. Ki Kadosh ani Hashem. V'avdil etchem min ha'amim. I want you to know how to be Kadosh. Be separate from all the nations. Now, you know, just like me, that it is very important to have good relationship with the nations. Hashem is not trying to encourage us to hate the nations. Has v'shalom. Good relationship is good. But there is a big difference between to have good relationship and to have derech eretz and not Chas v'Shalom to say dirty word to the Goyim, then, to be intermarriage to them. Socially and marriage. That's big difference. He said, we know, Am levadad yishkon, uvagoyim lo yitchashav. We are Am levadad, and no problem. You go down to hug, you will see we are alone. We are alone there. 70 lions want to devour us. Baruch Hashem that we have some country protecting us. We have America over there too, we have veto, and we have, believe it or not, Germany, Edom. Germany is supporting us. We have some country with us. That's why we have good relationship. You know why Germany and America with us? Not only because they know who we are, they saw the movie, what Hamas did, the real movie, what Hamas did in Simchat Torah. People cannot digest. I didn't see the movie. I cannot see. I have no capacity even to see it. But I said, what description of people. If you see this movie, you know who is the criminal. It's not IDF, for sure. ופירש רש"י, אם אתם מובדלים מהם, if you separate yourself from the goyim, you are my children. If you not separate yourself from the goyim, you are the children of Nebuchadnezzar. You're not my children. So he said, והטעם שהכפיל, כן? הקדוש ברוך הוא, להזכיר שיוציא את ישראל מתחת סבלות מצרים, שפתח בו, remember, the word סבלות was in the beginning, and the word סבלות was at the end. Now, can you, somebody now, Martha, this is the last part, and this is really cappuccino. I'm going back to question number 1. We started with Sivlot, and we end up with Sivlot. And we ask why twice. Why in the beginning, and why at the end? Is not an F at the end. Hashem said, I will take you out of Sivlot Mitzrayim. Why I have, now to conclude, I will take you for me as a nation, mitachat Sivlot Mitzrayim again. You know why? I will not challenge you because this is a beautiful answer. This is for you in Panama. And this is for people all over the world, not only in Panama. This teaching us the Torah is history or hysteria?
Hysteria.
Hysteria. The Torah is teaching us something for today?
Yes.
Yes. You know what the second time? The second time is if you're in Panama or United States or Australia or Europe, don't take, the civilization of the Goyim. Don't say even their light is beautiful. I know how many times I felt, we went saying, wow, beautiful light, the Christmas light. Don't say it. Simple, don't say it. He said, don't compliment the Goyim. Don't compliment. If a Goy give you doing a favor, say thank you, be polite, be with derech eretz. But he said the second time is to teach all the Galuyot today. We have many Jews still in the Galut. In America, in Panama, in Russia, and we have all over the world. And he said, do not try to intermarriage. Not only, socially. He said, that's why he said, remember, Sivlot is tolerance. You know how much tolerance you have to be for the civilization of the Goyim? 0. Yes. 0 tolerance. That's why he did twice. In the beginning, the first time for the Jewish people in Egypt, and the second time is for us. And I don't want you to think that in Israel we have this and we don't have this problem. Unfortunately, we have some, not many, some Jews going with Arabs. Believe it or not. I'm not talking about Jews going with people from America, not Jewish. But he said, some going with Arabs. That's why Yad La'achim, I don't know if you know this movement, working 24/7 to redeem, to help the Jewish girls. And they have shtick and trick, these Arabs. What they have, you would not believe. I saw one time big article on TV. They're going, not only to secular girls, to our girls, religious girls, but from poverty. People has no money. And they see girls, they give them, iPad a gift. They give them computer. They buy them for them dress. And all of a sudden the girls feels, my gosh, I found my prince. What my parents did not give me, this Arab. You see, Arabs could be nice. And you know what happened? He take her to his village and she becoming a maid. And they don't know their goal. They did not to change. They did not to make many people in Simchat Torah, not Hamasnikim, not another citizen from Gaza came and kidnapped, Jews from Be'eri, from the kibbutzim. You know why? To enslave them, to take the wife for their maids, to be their maids. It's unbelievable. That's why he said, and you know what people in Be'eri said before this happened, Simchat Torah? Oh, we can have peace with them. You know how many Jews in kibbutz Be'eri send them gift to their children? Gift to their children. They thought that, peace must be there. Now, not even one say this. Now, all these people were left wing. They said peace. Now I don't believe anymore. I don't believe in them anymore. That's why he said the hatred to Hamas is a mitzvah. The hatred to these people is a mitzvah. To have a mechitza. Not all of a sudden said, you can be like 300 days. You know what happened to a slave after 7 years? What he might say? After 7 years, you know what he might say? I don't want to be free. I love my master. I want to stay. Could be. Why? He got used to it. No tax, no 1040, nothing. He doesn't have to worry. He has food, he has this, like in kibbutz. So what the Torah is teaching us now, my dear friend, the 4 words of redemption is still relative to today. It's still so actually to today. Not to have any tolerance. Rav Eliyahu, Rav Shel Tzfat, he gave, people say he is racist. I don't think he's racist. He said to the Jews not to rent houses to the Arabs. He said clear. Why? Not because he hates Arab. No. He's afraid of intermarriage. That's all. Who said that my son will not fall in love with their daughter or the opposite? Who said? He said, no, we have to be separate. Separate and conquer. So Be'ezrat Hashem, mamash soon. In this Parashat Vayera, in Parashat Bo, in Parashat Beshalach, and Yitro, we will make tshuva, and we will see the 4 words of redemption coming, and then which word will come to real? Vehaviotim, number 5. Vehaveti etchem, very good root. Vehaveti etchem, this is etchem? You, Panamanian. Vehaveti etchem el haaretz. I'll bring you to Eretz Israel. All the Jews will be in Eretz Israel, Be'ezrat Hashem, B'mehera, B'yamenu, Amen.
Hazaku Baruch, Rabbi.